building something super ambitious. So really excited for you to see what he's working on. Please welcome Hugo from Twin.
Hi, guys. Hi from Paris. Sorry for not being here tonight. I'm Hugo Mercier. I'm the founder and CEO of Twin. And I'd like to start today's presentation by telling you the story of one of our design partners. A month ago, I met with the CEO of a 100 million ARR company who told me that there were 35 people in his team doing the same task again and again. The task is a typical SDR task that hundreds of thousands of people are doing every day. Nothing very original here. But what was surprising to me is when I learned that this task, at the scale of the whole company, is costing them $1 million every year. So they tried to automate that task using first off-the-shelf solution like Zapier. It failed. Then they hire engineers to build custom scripts and integration. It failed again. And so ultimately, they just decided to hire more humans to do the task manually. So I recorded myself doing the task. And while the task is boring and repetitive, it's a complex task because you have to retrieve a bunch of information on stakeholders and company, and you don't know exactly what type of information you're looking for and in which place you're going to find the information. That's why deterministic software is failing at automating that kind of task. A few months ago, with my co-founder Joao, we started experimenting with LLMs to see if they can automate that kind of task. And while LLMs are great at reasoning in simple environments on linear tasks, like for instance, summarizing a very large document, it actually fails at more complex tasks. And I'm sure we've all seen that with the early autonomous agent experiments where you give agent a goal and they just take, wrong direction, they make bad decisions, and ultimately they get stuck. And the reason why is because LLMs haven't been trained to reason in messy environments like humans do every day. So the task I just showed you is only the tip of the iceberg. There are hundreds of those tasks that are costing millions every year to companies and costing hours every day to individuals, and that software can't automate. Like for instance, when you're trying to onboard a new employee within a team, you have to retrieve a bunch of information inside PDF spreadsheet to create the employment contract. Or when you have to pay the suppliers by the end of the month, where you have to find the invoice inside your email, extract the information from the PDF, and then go to the banking app to make the wires. Or when you have to prepare a custom proposal and contract based on some information that you found online, inside emails, or inside Slack channels. Or for compliance team, where they have to manually cross-check a bunch of information from documents that the customer sent and information they found online, and so on and so forth. And that's exactly why we started Twin. We are solving that problem by building an AI that is specifically trained to control and navigate autonomously across complex interface, so that anyone could seamlessly delegate their repetitive tasks to an AI as seamlessly as delegating them to a smart intern. So I showed you at the beginning myself performing the task, and right before the presentation, I asked Twin to do the exact same task. So let's have a look at it. So this is Twin, and what Twin is currently doing is start from reading the whole website, summarizing it, then it goes to the company LinkedIn profile to find the right stakeholders. It found 4 relevant stakeholders, and then for each of the stakeholders, it's going to read all their posts, summarize them, extract the right information, and then for one of the stakeholders, it's going to craft a personalized message, send it to LinkedIn, and then it's going to add that contact to HubSpot and create a note for that contact. And so Twin has been able to fully perform that task without any human intervention. So this is still early because Twin took roughly the same amount of time that it took me to perform the task. But it's an important milestone because Twin has been able to fully execute a task that hundreds of thousands of people are doing manually every day. That's costing $1 million to the company I mentioned. And that's only one amongst hundreds of similar tasks that Twin has the potential to learn and automate. So now I'd like to show you a bit more what is happening in the backend by just showing you Twin on a simple task in live. So this is like an early version of Twin. And on the left, what you can see is basically a goal that I gave to Twin, which is a pretty straightforward goal, like adding a note to a contact on HubSpot. And on the right, you will see Twin accessing to the web and to HubSpot via the headless browser we've built. So Twin goes to HubSpot, and then it starts the task. And so basically what happens here is that it's going to capture a screenshot. It's going to take the HTML code of the page, process all that information. It sends it to our AI, and then our AI is going to decide what action to take next. Then the headless browser executes the action, it goes to the next step, and so on and so forth until the completion of the task. So as you can see here, it arrived on the contact page. It's smart enough to know that it has to type my name in the search bar. It typed my name in the search bar. And then very likely after that, it will click on my name, go to my profile to add a note. And so what's interesting here is that when I specified the task, I just gave it the goal. I didn't explain how to do it. So Twin figured out by itself, fully autonomously, the right sequence of action to take to perform the task. Also, an important element is that Twin hasn't been using any API. Twin is actually controlling the software interface, which means that we have no limitation due to APIs, and which means that we can do any type of action or any type of feature that a user can use on the software. So the reason why Twin has been able to perform those tasks reliably well is because we've trained our AI at the core to perform real-world professional tasks in complex environments like humans do every day. And when we started Twin a few months ago, there was no benchmark or evaluation dataset for what we wanted to build. So there is stuff like Web Arena, for instance, for web agents. But if you look closely to those benchmarks, you will see that the tasks in it are stuff like ordering a pizza or booking a flight ticket, which is not what professionals are doing every day and not what companies are willing to pay for. And so we built our own benchmark and evaluation dataset. And our first benchmark is composed of 350 common tasks across 40 tools. And we use that benchmark to evaluate our progress over time. So when we started in January, we had about a 40% success rate on the completion of full task using roughly GPT-4v. A few months after some improvement on our pipeline using different type of model, different ways of processing the data, we went up to 75%. 75 is a big improvement, but it's not enough if you want people to delegate their task every day to Twin. And so in the last couple of months, we figured out a way to generate a very specific type of training data that we call guides, and that can enhance the model knowledge, especially on the tricky task where Twin has failed. It's still early because we only produce guides for 20% of the task, but when you add those guides on top of our pipeline, then it reaches a 90% reliability on the execution of the full task, not the steps, which means human-level performance. So this is what we have done in 4 months with a 4-people team, and that's only the beginning. So what's next? Next, we will be scaling the production of guides. First, to increase the coverage of Twin across different tools. We started in January with 0 tool, and we expect to have more than 100 tools by the end of May. But what's more exciting is the fact that those guides not only improve the reliability of the agent, but also the speed and the cost, because you can then use smaller models to actually make the agent work. So we divided the time to run tasks by 2 this month. We expect to do the same next month, and leveraging the latest advance that I'm sure you've all seen in the open source space, we expect to go much further in the coming months by training our own model. While some are in a race to AGI, we don't believe that you need a super intelligence to take care of most what people are doing in their daily jobs. Instead, you need a super steerable system that anyone can use to teach any task that they perform super easily. And that's exactly what we're building with Twin, which is the fastest and most reliable product to teach an AI the task that you do, so that you can do something once or twice, then teach Twin how to do it so that you could delegate in the future some similar task. But you could also imagine that you could share your Twin with other people and let them access your expertise on demand and for cheap. And we believe this is what could enable the first 1% unicorn. So thanks you guys. Sorry for not being here and happy to catch up. Feel free to send me an email. Thanks and enjoy the evening. Bye.
He was on mute, so he couldn't hear you guys clapping, but I'll make sure to relay all of the applause to him. Our next founding team,